Well, hello again, everybody. I cocked that up already, didn't I? Fantastic. The stream hadn't even started and I had a technical issue. I hope you're all well, and it's great to be back. Very warm welcome to all of you guys tuning in. Of course it'd happen straight away, wouldn't it? I hope you're all well. I hope you've had a good time over the last week and a bit. Big day today as well. The launch of the 40th anniversary edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator as well, with the inclusion of the Innie Builds much anticipated Airbus A310. We've also had a surprise release yesterday of a is it Sky Sim simulations with an MD-11. I've got that and I will be working on reviewing that over the next few days as well. I've changed monitor, which is why that little blooper happened right at the start of the stream. I've actually got a brand new monitor which is capable of 4K, but what it has also meant is my resolutions for certain things are slightly out, so I do apologise for that. Hope you haven't missed me too much. Automator, Badger, Shuts, David A, hello, welcome, and everybody else in the live chat. I've got a few flying along there. There's a WestJet and a Neil's here somewhere on the ground, and David's our ATC for this morning here in very dark Canada. Yeah, there we go, David. Yeah, DC-3 and a Spruce Goose, helicopters, gliders, lots and lots to look forward to for sure in this update. Very exciting times ahead. We're here, stand 30 at Vancouver, and we're off to Yellowknife today in the Aerosoft CRJ900. It's been a little while as well. Alberto, hello, welcome. Very good, thanks. Good morning to you. Where have I been? I've been moving house. So I live in a completely different part of the UK now. Still near Heathrow for work, but my commute is now, instead of 15 minutes, it's now almost an hour. But it is what it is. I get to live in the countryside now, which is a bit nicer. Bacon sarnie now, yeah, indeed. Hello, Den. Do you have a checklist for the CRJ? I do. I think I do. It's on the website. If I do, BritishAvGeek.com. You'll be able to find it there. I'm pretty sure I do have a checklist. I can't quite remember. Bigger G Blueface, I am very excited for the update. Yes, I'm back to work from tomorrow though, so today's the only stream of this week. Then we're diving straight in back to work. I'll have the sim update installed, of course. And then from Monday, we're going to be looking forward to flying the A310. We're yet to pick a route, but those of you who like to fly Osprey Airways, we are looking to have 2 liveries created, at the very least on release, or by the end of the weekend, Sunday perhaps. We will have a retro Osprey Airways livery for it. Shuts, hello. New rig, no. Basically, I've got a new screen. Still trying to suss it out though, to be honest. It's all a little bit weird. So my setup, it's like opposites day, as I was saying to some of you on Discord earlier. My setup's very different. Having moved home, everything's set up slightly differently. It's having to be in a slightly different place. So yeah, expect bits of carnage and bits of confusion from me today. Probably pressed the wrong button again. Right, where were we? So, oh yeah, we've got new Navigraph installed as well. Those of you who saw my thing yesterday, Navigraph Charts 8 is now available to download. We've got it installed. We've got our route pinned in, ready to go. So we're going to be departing this Vancouver to departure, runway 08 right, according to the current ATIS. And then, if we go to this view, very cool. That is our route for today. Up to Yellowknife. We've got some scenery installed for the new Yellowknife sort of airport, but to be honest with you, it doesn't look great. It's payware. When we arrive, I'll be letting you guys know whether I think you should be spending your hard-earned cash on this or not. But from what I've seen from the images, the answer is most likely to be no. But I've got it anyway to help you guys work out if you want to spend the money on it or not. When we get to Yellowknife, we're expecting, as you can see on Navigraph on the left, an 8-knot tailwind and a 12-knot crosswind for the approach, because runway 34 is apparently in use with the ILS most of the time. But we will consider things as we fly along, certainly by YHY here, Hay River VOR. we'll have made that decision as to whether or not it's going to work for us or not, or if we indeed hand fly a different approach. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. We go back onto follow me mode. We can zoom on in. This is really cool. The vector overlay that now has was now included in the update. So as we push back and we start to taxi, it will update and we can see our stands as we go. Very nice, right? Beeline. Yes, FSLTL is in Osprey. Right, where are we? So there's our routes. We've got it all plugged in, ready to go. 4 legs. We've got the vectors and the discontinuity there. They're intentional because we want to depart, fly runway heading, and then we'll vector ourselves or fly towards GARRE, which is the bottom of the page there, bottom of the screen. That's our first waypoint today. Off to YQU, YOJ, Hoga Fadim, YHJ, and then into the airport. Doc's dropped me a little message saying have fun. Evening Gav, hope you're well. Where are we? It's been ages since I've been in the CRJ, so I do feel a little bit lost in this anyway. Probably should have gone with something a bit more familiar for today. Oh well, I'm sure it'll be fine. Right, anyway, that's all good, that's good. We've set heading, we've set 7,000. We need to get our clearance. And it's ATIS Information Alpha. Winds calm, apparently. Lovely. 3023 for altimeter. And departing 08 right. Information Alpha. Vancouver ground, good morning. Jazz 480, stand 30, CRJ900 with Alpha, request RFR clearance to Yellowknife.
Jazz 480, Vancouver ground flow, you are cleared to Yellowknife for the Vancouver to departure. Flight plan route, depart off 08 right, squawk 5106.
Clear to Yellowknife, Vancouver to departure, runway 08 right, squawk 5106, Jazz 480.
Jazz 480, readback is correct. Push and start is at your discretion. Call me taxi.
Okay. Yeah, no worries at all. We're back, so it'll be back to usual. Automated stream looking good at 1440. Jolly good. I've got full fibre again with BT, so slightly different provider. I don't know how stable it is in relation to all of this, but we'll find out. So, aircraft, passenger door closed. Park brakes down the bottom there it is. Wheel chocks removed. That's all clear, that's all good. Performance is set. Check our V speeds. 151, 160, 210. Jazz CRJ to your left. And we can prep for pushback.
Yeah, we'll push out a discretion. We'll give way to the Jazz CRJ to our left.
Got a beacon on.
2360.
So I've got GSX powering our pushback for today. Andy says, question, do you use SimBrief, free version to plan flights, or Navigraph when using VATSIM? So, well, I use SimBrief, but with the Navigraph Ultimate subscription, so it gives us the latest AirRack. So I guess it's payware. Payware SimBrief, I suppose you can call it. It's going to be pushback nose right.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
It's a bit of an awkward one, this. I have no idea what's going to happen here. I'd like to think usually it would be pushed back straight. I'll click push back straight back and I'll see what happens. Squawk 7600's been on this exact flight in real life, very nice.
Runway is 08 right.
Taxi.
5151. I do have information out the understand 20.
the ice procedures, parking
Break
positions.
490 reback is correct. Pushing start is at your discretion. Call me for taxi. Roger.
Just reading through apron stuff at the moment. Okay, doesn't really help us. Alright, well, we'll do straight push.
Release parking brakes.
BKG Blueface, not yet, but I have got it.
Commencing push. All engines clear.
And I
Started
will be
well.
doing a video for you guys to basically share my opinion with you all. Beacons on, ignition's continuous, APU's available. Let's go to engine right start. Boost pumps are on. Yeah, that's looking good. Engine start. Watching the N2. And we'll unlock that throttle lever position there. While this is starting, because it's a bit of a quiet pushback and startup, we will begin the safety demonstration in the background in the cabin.
Welcome aboard Air Canada.
Because it's in 2 languages.
À bord d'Air Canada.
Hopefully the volume's good for you guys today as
For your
well.
safety and comfort, we ask that you pay attention to this short video. So join us as we explore all that Canada has to offer.
Pour votre sécurité et votre confort, soyez attentifs.
I reckon if I can try and get the pushback to stop around this yellow line, then it's going to look pretty neat.
Vancouver going, good
Please
morning,
place baggage in the
Oscar
overhead bin
156.
or under the seat in front of you.
Stand
Veuillez ranger vos
72,
bagages
cabin
dans le coffre
73,
supérieur ou sous le siège de
7600,
vos
information from
In
body
preparation for takeoff, make sure you're comfortably
Yours,
seated,
please.
with your seat back upright and tray
Osprey
table stowed.
156. Vancouver ground flow. You are cleared to
Prenez soin de
Yellowknife.
vous
Waiting your
asseoir
confirmation for
confortablement,
good engine start.
dressez le dossier de
Approach
votre
runway
siège
08
et de
right.
ranger la
4,
tablette.
51.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
You must wear your seatbelt
Clear
when
to
the seatbelt sign
Yellowknife
has been
in
turned on.
Vancouver,
And we
Yellowknife.
Lots to do in the CRJ.
When the sign is turned on.
Vous devez porter votre ceinture lorsque la consigne des ceintures est allumée.
7.5 on that stab trim.
Lorsque la consigne est
Pushing
éteinte.
start is at your discretion.
Fasten your
Call me
We
for
want
seatbelt by adjusting
7.0.
Book up.
To release
Oops.
it, lift the upper portion or press on the release button.
There we are. Happy
Attachez votre
days.
ceinture et ajustez-la autour de vos hanches. Pour la détacher, soulevez la partie supérieure de la boucle ou appuyez sur le bouton de dégagement.
Yeah, I think Air Canada got in trouble, didn't they? They got sued a couple of years ago for something, and it was because they had, was it some announcements in only
Les
English?
consignes de ceinture et d'interdiction de fumer se trouvent à différents endroits dans l'avion. Veuillez les respecter en tout temps.
It is prohibited
Okay, that's
to
engines
smoke, use
1 and
electronic
2
cigarettes, or to consume
stable.
alcohol
Bypass
on
been
board.
removed.
Il est interdit de fumer, d'utiliser des cigarettes
Left is clear.
électroniques ou de
Right is
consommer
clear.
son propre alcool à bord.
Your portable electronic devices
Should be
must
flap safe.
set to airplane mode until an announcement is made upon arrival.
Perhaps say
Les appareils électroniques portatifs.
we put the nose light on as well. That's all set as required.
If your electronic device
And we
falls
will
in your
leave
seat,
crossflow
do not
on
move your
manual
seat or try to
as
retrieve it
well.
yourself, as it poses a fire hazard. Notify your cabin crew immediately to ensure the safe retrieval
Cass.
of the device.
Recirc fan
Si
off.
votre appareil électronique glisse dans votre siège,
Recirc
ne
fan
bougez
on.
pas votre siège et n'essayez pas de le récupérer.
Okie doke.
au risque
Alberto,
de
it's great to be back.
Avertissez immédiatement le personnel de cabine afin qu'il le
And
récupère en toute
Vancouver
sécurité.
ground, Jazz 480's ready for taxi.
Should an emergency
Yeah,
happen,
480,
place your
Sportsman
feet
Charlie.
flat on the floor and top of head against the seat in front of you. Or
Escort
rest
mode
your
Charlie,
head and chest
it would help
into
if I
your
remembered
lap.
to set my squawk as well.
Grasp
Stand
your
by.
ankles or wrap your arms under your legs.
En cas d'urgence, posez vos pieds à plat au sol
Ground route
et appuyez le dessus de votre
568,
tête contre le
we have
siège de
information
convoi.
from Woodkinich, altimeter
5-1.
023, looking for the project Yellowknife.
06.
Saisissez vos chevilles ou passez vos bras sous
Station
vos
calling
jambes.
Vancouver ground flow. Call 590, please.
That's better. Flaps 8, that's all
Illustrated
good.
card
Control
unit
surfaces are
pocket or
checked.
magazine rack.
That would be route
Explains the many
5
safety
These speeds
features
are
of the
checked and set.
aircraft.
Push 196.
Please review it
Hello,
sometime
done a
before
flight plan
takeoff.
for you.
La carte illustrée placée
Ah,
dans
what
la
you can
pochette
find
ou le
for you.
porte-revue près de vous explique les nombreuses mesures de sécurité propres à
Good
cet
morning,
avion.
Vancouver ground.
Veuillez en prendre connaissance avant le décollage.
And finally, nose wheel steering arms.
There is a need
I always
to
forget that in the
evacuate the
CRJ.
aircraft. Leave your baggage behind and follow the seat-mounted lighting to the nearest emergency exit.
S'il faut évacuer l'avion, laissez vos bagages à bord et suivez l'éclairage sur les sièges jusqu'à l'issue
Osprey
des ligne rouge.
131 Golf, Vancouver ground. Hello, you are cleared to Yellowknife Friday, Vancouver to departure. Flight plan route.
There
Depart
are
off
4
08 right,
exits located on each side of the aircraft. All of these are indicated by a green exit sign. Please locate the one nearest you.
Il y a 4 issues de secours de chaque côté de l'avion. Chacune d'elles est indiquée par une enseigne verte. Veuillez repérer celle qui est la plus près de vous.
Osprey 131 Golf, feedback is correct. Push the
If cabin pressure changes, an oxygen mask or a tab will drop from the panel above you. Remain seated. Pull the mask or the tab to bring the mask towards you. Use the support strap to hold the mask over your mouth and nose and breathe normally. Always secure your own mask before assisting another person.
Si la pression de la cabine change, un masque à oxygène ou une languette tombera du panneau au-dessus. Restez assis, tirez le masque ou la languette pour amener le masque vers vous. Utilisez la bande élastique pour maintenir le masque sur votre nez et votre bouche et respirez normalement. Mettez toujours votre masque avant d'aider quelqu'un.
Taxi to runway 08 right, altimeter 3022, out of the apron via Lima, cross runway 31 and hold short 08 right, Jazz 480.
Prenez la pochette de gilet de sauvetage sous le siège ou près du repose-jambes. Retirez
Peter,
la bande
hello.
élastique au besoin.
Route 496 is the flight panel system.
Slip it on.
So the air track is working again.
And tighten the belt. Pulling the tab will inflate the life vest. You can also inflate it by blowing into the tube. The life vest should only be inflated as you leave the aircraft.
Sortez le gilet de la pochette et enfilez-le.
Rouge
Attachez la
496,
boucle de
you are
taille
clear to
et
Yellowknife,
ajustez la
ID
ceinture.
Vancouver to depart.
So at the moment, it's pitch black usually. Well, it's about 5 in the morning in Canada, real time, compared to 1:16 UK time at the moment. So I've moved the time forward slightly so we get this beautiful sunrise.
Adressez-vous à l'un de nous.
Thank you for choosing to fly with Air Canada.
Merci d'avoir choisi Air Canada.
You know what, I'm going to have to sort out these rudder pedal sensitivities, I think. Super crazy. That's a tiny little movement of the rudder, and it's huge. Squawk 7600 says, yeah, it's across Canada. Even packaging on all goods is written in both languages countrywide here. To be fair, 95% of Canada is annoyed by the whole thing. Brilliant. Right, let me sort out these rudder pedals because it's proper crazy this. I'm just going to do a couple of cycles left and right and a couple of dabs on the old brakes. There we go, that should be good. Now let's have a look at this follow me mode on Navigraph. As we taxi out, I appreciate it obscures some of your view out of the flight deck window, but I wanted to show you guys basically what is happening here. As we taxi out, you can see all the different stand numbers. Badge is on his way already. Awesome. And it's this new tile vector technology that they have. So as you zoom out, it gives you all the beautiful, nice charts. I need to change this to high IFR. There we go. And then you can zoom on in, and it will bring you in line with your position relative to various stands. Now, the one thing it doesn't do is it doesn't give you the actual taxi lines like the actual taxi charts do. But you can kind of have a look and see Juliet, Lima, so you can get an idea, a gist for where the taxi lines are going to be taking you, so you can try and navigate correctly to the runway. So this is all I'm using today at the moment. I'm not using the actual taxi charts, I'm just using this screen to test out how good it is. Very, very, very useful. And of course, if you don't want it to follow due north, you can go track, which is even easier. So it'll follow the nose of the aircraft.
156, runway 08 right, altimeter 3022, taxi via
Cool, right?
apron, your discretion. Juliet Alpha, Juliet, Lima, cross runway 13, Lima 4, hold short 08 right.
Apron my discretion, Juliet Alpha, Juliet, Lima, cross
Pop strobes on because we're going to cross the runway. We're going to look left and right. God, look at that sunrise. So I'm just going to try and straighten this taxi wheel.
Osprey 490, taxi runway 08 right, altimeter 30.
Now look at that.
Taxi via apron, your discretion. Golf Hotel, Lima, cross runway 13, Lima 4, hold short 08 right. Okay, taxi to 08 right, 3022 on the altimeter. Charlie Hotel Lima. Cross 13.
Spectacular.
4 and hold short 8 right. Osprey 490.
Jonathan says it's a bit sad for VFR because there's no chance of procedure informations, but at least for those who don't have Sky Demon like I do, you've still got the VRPs in the circuit. Yeah, that's quite important as well, isn't it? You can see those sections that are relevant. Gav, hello buddy. Thank you very much, really kind of you.
Have the stream.
Sorry, but was that for Jazz 480?
Jazz 480, that's affirmative. Over to Unicom 122, decimal 8, enjoy stream link.
Cheers, sorry. Over to Unicom 1228 for Jazz 480. Thanks for the ATC, David. Flick that across. We don't want the run-up area. We want to go that way. I've actually left the strobes on, but hey ho, we will leave them on anyway. And the first screenshot for today is on Volanta. Vancouver traffic, Jazz 480 is lining up runway 08 right and departing Vancouver to departure. Vancouver traffic. That's all set. First continuous manual crossflow override is set and on, lights and signs as required. And lining up. Look at that. Magnificent. Right, got to try and remember how to actually do this. So, Takeoff config OK, I can see that green on the CAS. Set a bit of thrust. Engine T-speed is stable. Toga.
480, lining up behind the departing aircraft runway 08 right.
Speed to life. 80 knots. Super slow departure this. We've got a, well, it says 0 knot crosswind, that'll do. V1 rotates. Gently up on the nose. And away. Positive rate. Gear up. And working to try and chase that flight director if I can. I'm going to go heading mode, speed mode. Autopilot engage. There we go. Trying to find the button. Thanks, Jonathan. Beautiful, isn't it? Hopefully, you guys are getting a really good view of this because I know I've changed my setup, and I don't know. This is the first stream with it, really. I don't know if it's something that the computer seems to be capable of dealing with or not with the stream, but look at that. It's just remarkable. We're going to go left.
Vancouver traffic. Route 480, take on Takeoff,
Direct.
runway 08 right, Vancouver to departure.
GARRE.
And Vancouver traffic, WestJet 2360 will be lining up behind the company A321 for Vancouver traffic.
Automated good stuff. Will you need engine anti-ice, Andrew says. Currently no, but who knows, maybe we will in due course. Let's get that aircraft accelerated to 250 and we'll bring the altitude up to our cruise of 370 today. Like so. Look at that, that is magnificent. Just the sim just blows you away, doesn't it, with how remarkable these visuals actually are. All the screenshots will go on Volanta. We need to go ignition and that's my fault because I've forgotten. There we go, that's a bit better. We'll go to the climb gate. Forgotten to get rid of the flaps, whoopsie. That's all good, that's off, that's good, that's set, and that's all good. We're going to come right 2 degrees as we fly this departure.
Let's make it shorter. I'll wait 1 minute 30 seconds.
Look at that. Just really cool, isn't it? Trying to have a little look at my standby list at the moment. Wow, it's huge.
Vancouver to departure. Plane going toga mode now.
Make plane go now.
Let's hope I don't go MCAS mode.
Light snow in Yellowknife from Badger there.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, I've got some sort of memory leak somewhere because I've just used that intelligent standby list cleaner that you guys have told me to do a little while ago now when we were experiencing other technical problems in the past. We through 10? We are. Lovely stuff. Let's get that speed up. We want to go to 290. Actually, we'll do 280. Want to look at the VNAV climb here. It's target speed of 290 for climb. Okay, fair enough. We'll set that then. I'm conscious I'm going to try and get up around that, but yeah, of course this is the Canada World Update, isn't it? I've not thought of that actually. This is so it's all upgraded photogrammetry. This is the first time exploring Canada since we installed that World Update, which is crazy because I've left it far too long.
And Vancouver traffic, WestJet 2360, thankfully didn't go MCAS mode after departure. It's now airborne flight
I'm just going to come right slightly because I don't want to fly straight through that.
Flight level 350. Final call for Vancouver traffic.
We'll skirt around it. Gary Glasgow, hello. 035, we've got 040, that'll take us at least around the edge of that cell. I don't seem to have weather working on Volanta at the moment. But I can see, actually, there we go. So the weather's loaded up in Vancouver. There's a lot of red and purple on Volanta. We can work around the edge of it, can't we? So flaps are up, gears up. It's a bit late to be going through these checks anyway, but I'm just going to kind of remind myself the various different elements of flying the CRJ. Certainly a lot more hands-on than an Airbus is. 16,000, still climbing. Juliet Charlie Mike, good morning. Hope you're well. Is Volanta working well on your side? Lately it's causing me a lot of performance issues on my computer and I have no idea why. Jonathan, interesting. So that's something I've not explored actually. Could Volanta be the cause of my memory leak that I've just mentioned? Perhaps it is. Perhaps it is. Through transition. Right click and a left click. Get rid of that V-speed as well there, that target. Yeah, and we're kind of skirting around this cell quite nicely here. Look at that. Right on the edge of this cloud. Flight time 2 hours 15, roughly. .817 nautical miles to go. For those of you who might be familiar with the A310 more so than I am, is there anything that you think I should be made aware of when looking to review that particular aircraft? Wow, look at that. Absolutely mega. Ooh, Juliet Charlie Mike, that's not good. I remember when self-loading cargo, no, was it self-loading cargo? No, sorry, Sim Toolkit Pro, those of you who still use that. I remember when that was first created and we ended up having issues with memory leaks to the point where it was effectively unusable. Let's get back on track. Zato, nice. So that's something I'll have to consider then. So I have got it installed, as I was mentioning. That's Sky Simulations Airbus A310 that just, sorry, the MD-11, sorry. I've got that installed. That's going to be quite interesting to use. That's what I meant to ask for tips on anyway. .24,000 feet climbing. Would be a bit smoother if I was more capable. And we've got it in climb mode at the moment, so we don't have to do very much with the throttles, but I will need to remind myself that in fact we will have to control the throttle a little bit. Ooh, there's the moon. I'm just going to have a little look, see what the aeroplane's doing, because I want to make sure we are flying the correct track here. We are. So as I said, not a big fan of SkySim's MD-11. I also had it in P3D It has a great model, but textures are pretty meh. The systems are meh. In P3D it had no sizzle stars. Not so sure with MSFS. The sounds are copy-paste. And sounds copy-paste. So I wonder if it's very similar to the Leonardo Mad Dog, which I still haven't got. But I fired SkySim an email the other day, yesterday in fact, when we suddenly found out that the aircraft had been released by surprise. I fired them an email to say, look, would you like a review on it? It's going to be open, it's going to be warts and all, so if I think it's rubbish, I will say it's rubbish. Is this something that you would be looking for effectively? And they said yes, so they've sent me a serial code, a license code for the aircraft add-on for me to try out and share my thoughts with you all. 60 quid, it's quite a lot of money though. I think it's got to be good. It's more than some of the MPMDG 737s, don't forget. Oh, the mountains of Canada look fantastic with the New World update. I'd heard many sort of mixed reviews from the World update, to be honest. A lot of people saying they were quite disappointed by what was a poor quality World update for Canada, but so far, I don't know, I've not explored too much. So far it looks really nice. David, awesome, thank you. How many we got on the in the list of people flying along today? I bet I've not changed the Volanta resolution either, have I? No. There you go, you can have it in full glorious big screen. So I'm getting all sorts of screenshot upload server failures at the moment, which is quite frustrating because if I didn't have decent bandwidth, I wouldn't be live. But let's try again. That's that big cell over Vancouver at the moment. We've headed up north. That was us weaving around that little bit of cell as well. We've got Baccazato, Roof 480, David Amador, Thunder, Osprey 156, Epic, Neil in the baby Boeing, Osprey 131 Golf, he's airborne as well, happy days. So there's quite a few flying along today, it's great. And then ahead of us Badger as well, he's flying offline at the moment in the 737-600, and our route takes us pretty much, well, northeast up to the Northwest Territories to Yellowknife. From YHY, around about here, we're going to be breaking off and sort of working to intercept the ILS straight in over the lake. No idea what to expect, but like I said at the beginning, we've got the payware scenery for Yellowknife installed as well, and we'll work out if it is indeed worthy of people paying for it or not. Lolo, no it doesn't, so if you're still in flight when the world update comes, look at that. It will still leave you flying. You'll be pleased to know. 4 o'clock UK time. 2 hours 20 minutes, I think, isn't it? 4 o'clock, or is it 5 o'clock? Lolo, not sure about the SkySim MD-11 yet, but it is something that we will explore. As I was mentioning a couple of minutes ago, we do have it at the moment. Might bring that speed back to 284. Let's go to max 7.6, there we go. On conversion, oh, it wants max 7.4 on conversion. We'll do max 7.6 for now, and then we'll accelerate towards Mach 0.80. 1600 BST, well, BST's finished, so it's 1600 UTC now, or GMT. We've got rid of British summertime for the next few months. Andrew would like to see a good study level Boeing 727. Don't see anybody developing it for MSFS. That would be cool, wouldn't it? David has. I hope you're well, buddy. Very good morning to you over in the States. It's been, was it 11 or 12 days since our last live stream, but I've been really looking forward to getting back online with you guys, flying along. I thought there's no better way to test the setup of this, basically, of my new sort of desk space and everything. No better way than to actually throw myself straight into a live stream in the CRJ, manual throttles, everything else, make sure everything works correctly. Here's a question for you all. When the 40th anniversary update goes live at 1600 GMT, which aircraft out of those new ones are you going to be flying and where? DC-3 and A310 flying for Zato. I keep forgetting the DC-3 is coming. Andrew, I didn't know. I did see he was doing a charity stream, wasn't he, for Great Ormond Street Hospital? Raised over £5,000, which is amazing. High Flyer's going to be jumping in the A310 Kuwait to Dubai in Kuwait Airways livery. Bacon Sonny says his Toby eye tracker isn't coming until Monday. Wow, you can look forward to something for the start of next week. Lolo's going to be trying the Cabri. He worked with helicopters over the summer, very cool. Akari says it's 1 AM here in Japan. Probably going to update it tomorrow, it's quite late, isn't it? I do miss Japan. Samuel says, what aircraft are in it? It's the first I've heard of it. The A310, they've actually purchased it from Mini Builds. They purchased the rights for it to go into the anniversary update from Mini Builds. Probably over £1 million worth of deal there. Very good quality payware Airbus A310 that we're going to be expecting. High fidelity systems and all that sort of stuff. Which is mega because it's going to be a free aircraft for everybody inside that 40th anniversary edition. What an absolute whopper of an update this is going to be today. Bacon Sonny's going to be doing the DC-3 so he can do some Buffalo Airways flights. Hopefully someone will do a livery. There might even be one installed as part of the pack, who knows. Yeah, there's helicopters, there's gliders, there are vintage DC-3, that sort of thing. Dirty 2's going big. Jumping straight into the A310, going across the pond from Toronto to Edinburgh. What an awesome journey that would be. I hope so, Lolo. I hope so. I'm sure it will. I've got good faith that it will. There's our altitude C chords. That means we're almost at cruise. That means it's our throttles now. So I'm going to drop it back into the manual gate. Take it out of the climb FADEC. Or climb setting, rather. Zato, yeah, pretty much. Although I've read other people actually compare the A310 and the A300s more in comparison to the 757 versus 767 from Boeing. It's an Airbus Bacon Sarnie, but it's an old school Airbus. So there are elements of it which currently, kind of look more in tune with a Boeing aircraft. So it's definitely worth you giving it a go, Bacon Sarnie. It'll be interesting to see what you think. Solid, hardcore Boeing fan. VLAN Pilot, nice. How's the reset PC treating you? Hopefully it's going without a hitch so far, touch wood. Gary, awesome. Going Heathrow to Gatwick as a little tester hop in the A310. Absolutely. The A310 has a yoke. So it's half Boeing. Half Boeing, half CRJ. Well, a third CRJ, third Boeing, and a third Airbus, perhaps. Is probably the best way to explain it. Even if you squint your eyes, Bacon Sarnie, and pretend it's a Boeing. What if I do an Osprey livery for the A310 but put a Boeing sticker onto it? Rightio, let's leave the power as it is. We'll see what it can achieve in cruise here. Well, I've set Mach 80. We'll just see what happens with our speed. Got a nice little tailwind. About 10 knots. Tail, 10 knot cross. Pushing us along. Just for the yoke. There's a new NVIDIA update as well today. I haven't installed it because I know what these updates have been like recently, so I pretty much feel like it's they're all cursed. John says, I have the Rotate MD-11 on X-Plane and the TFDI MD-11. It's still a year away on MSFS. Tempted to get the Sky Simulations MD-11 as a stopgap. It depends how much you want it, because it is over 60 quid, John, but if you can hang fire until maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm hoping by that point I will have had a chance to bring you guys a review of some sort, so you can work out if you want to spend your hard-earned cash on it or not. High Flyer, no. Well, I don't have the Airbus TCA. I've got the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flight, which is a really nice yoke and throttle. In fact, as I'm looking at it now, it is very similar to the CRJ yoke, bizarrely. Kind of a blend between that and the Boeing yoke, I think, is kind of what they've gone for. Nestled quite nicely here at cruise. We just have to monitor this speed now because it is creeping up to that Mach 80 line, which means we'll have to make sure we set a cruise thrust setting once we get it where we want it. High Fly, for the A310, I'd use the Boeing yoke. I'd use a yoke if I've got the choice between both, and I've got both. I'd use the relevant equipment for the right aircraft. Alas, I've only got the yoke, so I fly even with Airbus with a yoke. But if you've got both, you might as well plug and chop and change between each aircraft type. A310, I'd definitely be using a yoke for if I've got the option of two. If you don't have a yoke, then don't worry. Stick with your side stick. It will be fine. Ultimately, they're designed to do the same thing, so it's not too much of an issue. 89.3 for the M1 at the moment. Just going to bring it down a little notch. This is where I remember throttle calibration is really key in the CRJ. You can do these tiny little adjustments in thrust. Aaron, hello. Yeah, me too. Saying I'm amazed the Mad Dog hasn't come down in price. It's a crazy amount of money for something that still needs a lot of improvement to it. For me, I still can't justify spending that amount of money on it, sadly. That's why I'm waiting to find out if that SkySim MD11 is any good, because that's more expensive than PMDG at 60 or so quid. And it's a big ask if then there's issues with it, or if it's not that great. I was looking for nicknames for the A310 the other day, bizarrely. Couldn't find any. Couldn't find any at all. I suppose it's because it's an aircraft that wasn't massively popular. Even Guppy. You can't even call it Guppy because that's 737, isn't it, I think? Is that what the 737-700 is nicknamed? I might need to bring that power up a little notch. You can see that little bug starting to drop. There we go. Tiny little nudge in the throttle, watching that N1 rise. And hopefully that should have us stable now. So we could, in theory, just then enjoy the sim. The old contrails blasting out behind us. Study bus. Have I tried the Mustang C510 from Cockspur, Jonathan? No, not heard of it. In fact, I think somebody was mentioning it the other day, to be honest, but yeah, no, I haven't tried it. I know Milviz won't send me anything anymore, I don't think. Based on my my 310R review that I did, where I showed off all of its problems. They weren't too happy about that. It was my fault, apparently. I think they still stand by that. But it is what it is. Bobus, poo ship, rocket ship, Boeing bus. Isn't the Guppy the Beluga? It is, yes. But I think the Beluga's based on the A300, isn't it? Oh, that's that then. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I don't think anybody has been able to... I was trawling through one of the flights aviation forums the other day, trying to work it out. I just couldn't figure it out, to be honest with you. I couldn't find an A310 nickname. That sounds ominous. Samuel saying, just seen the meta for Yellowknife. This is going to be fun. Let's have a look. Oh, good grief. Winds 140 degrees at 17 knots, gusting 22 knots, 15 statute miles, visibility and light snow. Cloud overcast 1,300 degrees. Temperatures -8, dew point -9. Very close spread there, very narrow spread. And altimeter 3013. Jonathan, if a lot of things are in op for €25, that's just a big no then for me already. Only ILS 3.4, you're correct. I'm just having a little look around on the charts. Let's explore these together. That's that one. Charts. No stars. 140 at 17. So 1.6 could be an option. There's an RNAV. We could do the RNAV actually. AirNav only, minimum's at 1080, so that's certainly capable for the CRJ. I mean, that's a whopper of a 22 knot tailwind. No thanks. I think that's maybe pushing our luck a little bit too much, isn't it? 1,500 meter runway. Ooh. For 28 and 10, so that's not an option. 34 and 16, 2287. Oh my goodness, it's going to be a huge backtrack if we use 16. You have to go all the way down to the bottom, turn around, and then zip back to vacate Alpha right at the top here. Could do a VOR approach. That's the ILS. Only available on 3-4. Aaron, absolutely. Bound to happen, isn't it? I'd put money on it. It'd be great fun. Lenny loved the Finnair across the pond flight. Very nice. Who made this CRJ? Aerosoft did. It's great. It's one of the first payware aircraft that was released for the sim a couple of years ago now, and it's well, it's spent a little while now actually as my favourite aircraft. It's really nice. It's full on. There's lots to manage. There's lots to do on it. Certainly with no auto thrust, you have to set the throttle really carefully and basically just try and maintain it as best as you can. The key there is not to chase the throttle. Set it, let it stabilise, and then review it to see if it's the correct setting or not. If you're new, welcome. Tuning in for the first time, hit subscribe, and don't forget as well, folks, hit the like button if you're enjoying it today as well. Zato says if we use runway 16, there will be a lot of go-arounds. I guess we could, well, we could work to try and make sure we separate ourselves really carefully. Let me Google CRJ tailwind landing limits. Maximum tailwind component for takeoff and landing in the CRJ900 is 10 knots. Maximum crosswind component for takeoff on a dry runway is 35 knots, based on company. Can be 32 knots. Maximum allowable crosswind component for takeoff and landing on a runway, 27 knots. So it's already out of limits for us. Delta Tango, hello buddy, welcome back. Bacon Sani saying, stop comparing it to a Boeing, it's a poo bus. I didn't miss your member message. I have a massive green blob on my screen showing it. David saying, Osprey 490, WestJet 2360 and Osprey 156 will need to separate. They're forming a nice triangle on VATSIM right now. Yeah, Lenny, absolutely. I have covered it in the tutorials I did for this back in the day. They're still relevant now. Episode 1, 2 and 3 of the CRJ tutorial series. Have a little look at that if you are looking to learn this aeroplane. And it covers all the basics, including getting that throttle set really nicely. So I'm not even touching the throttle. But I've set an M1 and I've let it stabilise. Delta Tango, thank you very much, buddy. Settling in nicely. Touch wood, BT is going to be nice and reliable. I've had issues in the past with it, but I'm hoping their super fast package will sort me out for the live streams going forwards. So, flight level 370, David, at the moment is our cruise. Yeah, what do you reckon, folks? Do we stick with that tailwind landing and we fight it and we try, we see what happens? Or do we keep it safe, keep it proper, and we change to the RNAV runway 16? We'll still have a gusty crosswind element to contend with, but we'll have a little bit more of a hands-on approach. David said, I never got comfy in the CRJ. Now, if I wanted this type of flight, I'd go 146, I think. Either way, you get fantastic views. This is the furthest north in Canada we've ever flown as well, I think. Usually we've done Toronto and we've done Vancouver. Departures going south, or Toronto was heading across the pond, I think, wasn't it? I think, I'm not sure. Joey and Zato say to fight it with the tailwind. It's double the maximum limits, almost. 17 knots gusting 22, so we'd call that an average of 20, why not? So it is double the crosswind, tailwind limit. Low, so at 2 hours 15 in total. Dusty says BT was an absolute nightmare when I lived in Hastings. The collections would drop so frequently. Touchwood, we're okay so far. It's fibre to the premise, which is good. ILS, yeah, the only ILS is runway 34 Delta Tango, but they have got the RNAV self with the other way. Dirty to, yeah, very much so. So that's where the gusts could be quite difficult, and I'd have to add quite a lot of other considerations really, including like, yeah, I'd have to add 15 knots to my approach speed, I think. Otherwise I risk having an issue with that supercritical wing surface. When you can stall the wing, you lose the energy in the wing in this quite easily in climb. Never done it, touch wood, on approach, but it can be done. Alright, let's do the RNAV for runway 16 then. We'll have to manage the VNAV element ourselves, the descent element ourselves. The aircraft will then handle the LNAV element for that lateral guidance on the approach, up to minimums. But what I would, yeah, for those of you, have a little look on Volanta or VATSIM or whatever else, have a look to see whereabouts you are in relation to other people flying along. Yeah, I can see Osprey 490 is followed very closely by Osprey 156 and WestJet 2360. Well, yeah, everybody's going to have to really space out to, I think, maybe a 4-minute gap each. to make this work, if we're going to do runway 16, I can't see any other way of that working. I mean, if we go on to Navigraph, you can see there it's a 14 knot tailwind, which isn't too bad, but it's the gust that you've got to be wary of that doesn't tell you about. And if we flick that to the runway choice, you can see runway 16 and 34 are the only options for us. In reality, we've got a 14 knot headwind instead. That would then gust. So we can add that to the route instead. On our Yankee or Zulu, which was the one we were looking at doing? On our Zulu, it's a nice box. And it will be via Aleru. Cool. I can't see that changing, so what we could do is add that arrival in now. On our 16 Zulu via Aleru. Execute. So on the legs page, YHY Aleru Adsil Radir. Want to make sure that is the correct. So there's YQU, YOJ, a couple of other waypoints, YHY. That works. Lovely. Straight into Aleru. Easy peasy. We can add a fix. So if we want to be really swish, we can choose YZF, I think, which was the Yellowknife VOR. Radir. Got a bit 2,000 feet at Radir. And that's 4 miles. So we'll call it 5. I'll put a 5-mile fixed ring in. And Adsil at 10 miles. YZF 10. Doc says, ILS-34, I go on strike. Even though we've got a tailwind limit that exceeds the aircraft's limitations by double. Samuel says, what's the bet? One of us needs a go around. More than likely. But I think if we can sort out the separation nice and early, we might have to vector ourselves away from each other a little bit as well on that approach. We might have to enter holds or whatever as well, so just do expect that, folks, potentially, so we don't all come in at the same time, or we could all it could just be a mess. It could be a free-for-all. Vegas Sunny says, I have it, but I can't see that. I must have turned it off. Let's have a look. Did you click hide? Does yours look like that? Because all you have to do then is press the little plane icon here, and then it brings it all up. Only if you've loaded a flight plan from SimBrief, or if you've set one up directly in Navigraph, though, of course. Minimums 1080. I can't believe that they would fly this route in real life with that tailwind. No, 3 days ago they did the RNAV. In fact, they did the exact procedure we've done, RNAV Zulu. On the 8th of November, they did this procedure that we're doing. Going to flight radar. That's fine by me. We'll stick with RNAV Zulu if that's the case. Right, what have we got here? Minimums, which is that one. 1080, but it's not going to let me do that, is it? Because it only goes to 999, I think. So we'll do decision height of 405. Still haven't had to change the throttle setting. We'll flick that across and press that again so it gets rid of the MDA a little bit. Oh yeah, the spacing's pretty messed up. Beeline pilots, that's a circling approach. Circle to land, that would be. I can't see that on the charts though. Usually it'd be charted with a minimum for circling approach. Let me have a little look about. Straight in landing, runway 16. Straight in landing. Straight in landing. Interesting. No, that must just be a visual approach. There's nothing that I can see that suggests it's at least a charted procedure, so it might be ad hoc or training purposes maybe. The charts that we've got say straight in approach on them, and there's no element of circling approach there, so. Bakersani's got the fancy stuff now, good stuff. Charts, Navigraph charts say it's great, isn't it? Oh, we've got another airline FS Hub request for Osprey. Let me just approve Armoured. There we are. Still frustrating. Every single pilot has to be manually approved. So it does take a while sometimes. Fritz says, how's the car running? Yeah. I got it back yesterday evening. In fairness, BMW got me a taxi all the way back. They paid for it as well. And then they knocked... Oh, it's only tiny, isn't it? It's basically the price of the MOT, but they knocked 50 quid off for me. Which is better than nothing. You know, it's 80 quid worth of taxi journeys and everything else. And you know, mechanically, things will go wrong at some point with a car. That's just a given, isn't it? That's the way it is. That vast nothingness below. MPS Gaming, hello, welcome. Not flying along in the grease end today. Wonderful outlook down below. I'd love to see this sim in 4K. I'm very tempted to save up for a 4K setup now. Winds now increased to 27 knots at Yellowknife. Wowzers. Must be the centre of a whopper of a storm. Let's have a look. Yeah, the Meta now 140 degrees at 16 knots, gusting 27. And visibility's starting to reduce. Overcast cloud at 1,000 now, so the cloud base has dropped 300 feet. That is roughly actually... It's going to be near to minimums, that overcast cloud. Spread's increased by 1 degree, so it's now temperatures -7 degrees, dew point -9. Then the closer that spread, the more likelihood of bad visibility, fog, haze, that sort of thing. Still light snow. It'd be interesting to see what happens with the sim then with light snow. Jeff, hello. Yeah, very true. I'd be looking to upgrade everything basically. Graphics card, CPU. Well, it'll be most likely a new PC, won't it? Let's face it. To be able to run 4K. MPS Gaming, no, sadly not. I want to try and get the MD11 fired up in the sim before the update, ideally. Before the update launches, I want to try and hopefully have finished the stream, and then I can reboot the sim with the MD11 to then start having a little look at it all effectively, because that update's going to be a huge frenzy. Everyone's going to be updating it. It's going to take forever. So I figured if I can make the timings work just about, I can sit in the sim with the new MD11 from SkySim, and I can start to become familiar with it and start to begin to record. We'll put together a bit of a review for you guys to work out whether or not you want to spend that much money. Automator says sim at 4K and stable 30 frames per second is good for airline flying. Yeah. I have been tempted over the last few days to re-lock my sim to 30 frames instead of 35 frames per second. Do a quick speed check. Still haven't touched the throttle. It's really nicely in the middle there. Still hasn't moved. Fuel's still good. Slightly imbalanced on the left. Shouldn't impact us too much. In fact, if we use the standby instrument, 3011. Okay, so minimums might still be in cloud. That'd be interesting. High to low, down you go. Matthew says, I don't know about the 757, but the 767 doesn't actually have a published crosswind limit. Wow. What about a tailwind limit? In fact, Matthew, you'll know, because you used to be, before you jumped onto that twin aisle 767, you were a CRJ captain. What was the maximum tailwind limit of the CRJ? Do you remember? Brits, have a good one, buddy. Christ, that's huge. 22 gig download with 40 gig of hard drive space required for Sim Update 11. Wowzers. Matthew, I've not been in it for a little while, to be honest. It says, you really are flying that thing like a pro. 10 knot tailwind for the CRJ, 15 for the 7.6. 15's pretty good. But that means 27 knot tailwind is definitely a no-no for that ILS approach into Yellowknife. Who knows what's going to happen. It is a big update, isn't it, Samuel? 40 gigabytes. Although there is a lot, this is an update that's going to pack a punch. That A310 must be a decent chunk of that. It's got to be at least, I don't know, what, 5 to 10 gigabytes? At a guess, maybe 5 gig. You're looking at a couple of gigas, I'd imagine, as well for that DC3. MPS Gaming says 22 gig was not so much. My sim is over 600 gig in the install. Christ, that's huge. Matthew saying for manual flying a landing there is no published limits. Wow, not even any aerodynamic maximum limits. Oh, not too far off then. The A310 on X-Plane 11 is 1.2 gig. I'd imagine it's roughly the same size then. Doc throwing down the gauntlet. The only limit is the pilot itself. Boom, GoPro view. Yeah, SkySim MD11 was certainly released under complete secrecy. I think. I don't think I saw it anywhere in the flight sim world. Any corner of the flight sim world, there was no mention of SkySim MD11 for MSFS. But we've got to work out what the next, what the first ever A310 Osprey route is going to be. I feel like we do a departure out of Gatwick. Yeah, no one's picked up the Osprey yet, the MV22. Again, that was something that released fairly quickly after its first couple of announcements, but tough. Not sure what to expect really. Looks awesome, doesn't it? It does look really cool. I don't know how much I'd fly it though. Lots of buttons to learn in the A310. I'm hoping I can get my head around it nice and quickly, to be honest. I'll harness my inner Boeing pilot and my inner CRJ pilot, and I'm hoping that's going to stand me in good stead for the A310 to just dive straight into it and learn on the fly. Juliet Charlie Mike, yes, I will review the SkySim MD11. I've actually got it installed at the moment, but I've installed it into my add-on directory, add-on linker. I think so, David. Yeah, that's the one thing that kind of stopped me purchasing it is the price in relation to how much I'm actually realistically going to fly the aircraft. Jerry says, are you planning a flight later today or tomorrow with a new update? So tomorrow and the next day I'm back at work. From Monday onwards I'm going to be looking at jumping straight into the A310. Most likely Monday. It all depends on... I've got a number of snags, of course I have, in the new build house. And because of that, basically I need to have various tradesmen come around and put a couple of things right. Nothing major, which is nice, thank goodness. But yeah, nonetheless, through next week, I'm going to be having them in and out all the time. So I'm going to try and work my streams out around when tradesmen are going to be coming around. But I'm hoping Monday, 1 o'clock UK time, again as usual, I can make something work. Jeff, I've heard very mixed things. I've heard a blend of reviews, some good, some really not that happy. So who knows? And I haven't yet tried it myself. I think from what I've seen, visually it looks wonderful. But I'd have to jump into it and have a little look at the system depth and the sounds and everything as well. I've heard there are some of the sounds missing a little bit, like the Leonardo Mad Dog. Some sounds are a bit lackluster. Zato saying the Innobuilds have got a tutorial on their YouTube channel. It's for the A300, but it's practically the same aircraft, so you're good. And MD-11 would be quite cool, wouldn't it? We're all, as somebody was saying earlier on, we've all been waiting for that TFDI design MD-11 plus their freighter to come. Whereas SkySim have now released, well, both passenger and freight variant in one package. The question is, for 60 quid, is it good? And I will let you guys know in the next few days. You just have to bear with me. I'm back at work from tomorrow, so it will take me a little while to get round to sorting out a review. I don't want to rush into it. I want to sort of spend my time, at least a day or two, trying to get to know the aeroplane and work out how it all works. But yeah, as Juliet Charlie Mike's saying, asking, will I review the MD-11? Yes, I will. Yeah, Dirty 2, that I think their release timing is a bit bad, isn't it? Because we're all about to get that payware A310. So they might, yeah, I can't get my head around the timing of it. They would have been better off waiting maybe till next weekend, I feel. But timing isn't everything. I hope we get a 767 for MSFS. 757 and a 767, they're going to be fantastic if they do come. YOJ, Hoga Faden, YHY. And then a Leroux. Exactly, Samuel. And it's more expensive than the 737-800 and the 737-700. And look how good they are as aircraft. It's more expensive than the Fenix A320. Look how good that is. It's more expensive than this, the Aerosoft CRJ. Look how fantastic this is. Though this does have its issues, but it's angled at a slightly different market, a more mid-range market. Yeah, SkySim MD-11 is over 60 quid. Not cheap. It's got to be good. Trying to remember how to fly on our approaches in this. It's going to be vertical speed mode only with LNAV. So it's going to be nav mode, and then we're going to set descent through vertical speed mode, or we could just hand fly it if it gives us that ability. Seatbelts are on auto, but they seem to be on still. It's going to be a lot of wet seats. Wet seats or mass disorder in the cabin, probably both. YPS Gaming, well actually to be fair, yesterday I did a test flight. I did Heathrow to Manchester with Fly UK in the 737-800, and in fairness, it's not the latest update. It's the one before. So I didn't notice any auto throttle issues, but having said that, from 1,000 feet, more often than not I turn the auto thrust off and I hand fly it, so it makes no odds. For me, that little auto thrust bug. Matthew says I've got a video for that. I remember seeing the picture of you walking. I think you walked into the flight deck and somebody on a previous flight had left it in an absolute tip. And I remembered it properly triggered you on Discord. Rightly so, as well. I'll have a shot of whiskey before approach. Makes you fly straighter, apparently. Speed's good still. Still haven't touched the throttle. The speed's bang on in the middle still. We're happy with that. Arnav Zulu, Samuel. There's our M1 setting. Let's have a quick look on Valanta, see where we're at. Over halfway now. That is a really busy pack of people, isn't it, flying along? 2, 3. There's 4 people way too close together. It's going to be interesting. No more screenshots to upload at the moment. That weather's still hugging over Vancouver at the moment. Look at that. That's what we departed past. I'm imagining on approach, once I turn around and I vacate, I'm imagining seeing a whole load of people descend towards the runway all at the same time. You could just do land after, couldn't you? Maintain visual, aircraft at the front, does really brake, sort of light brakes, go right down to the bottom of the runway. The next aircraft brakes slightly harder to make sure they don't crash. The one after that slightly harder, so again you keep separation, spacing, and then you all do a synchronized backtrack. That's another option. I kind of want to see that. Not gonna lie. I want to see how well you can sync the turn. Only 42 minutes to go. We've got to be near the top of descent at some point soon. There's the little green blob. We've still got quite a few miles to go though. YHY. Jeff's still trying to resist the MD-11. If you can hold on till Monday, Tuesday, hopefully I'll have an answer for you. Or you'll press send and you'll download and install and see for yourself. I suppose it's the other way of finding out how good something is. Right, so as we get a bit closer, let's go through, especially if you're just tuning in, let's go through our approach then into Yellowknife. First time flying in here, we've got a payware scenery. I forget who it's, let's have a little look. Project Max Yellowknife. The pictures look like it's barely passable as freeware, and some of the hangars look like I created it, similar to the one in Denham that I made, which is just crap. So we'll find out when we arrive to see how good of a payware add-on it actually is. Having said that, we're set up now, because of the winds, for the RNAV Zulu runway 16 approach into Yellowknife. This is Navigraph Charts 8, by the way, the latest update released the other day. Very cool. Airport elevation 675, so while we're here, cabin pressure at the top right here of the overhead panel is in sync with that figure down the bottom in blue. Landing elevation, we've got to get that synced. So let's do that while we're on the topic of it. 675, 680, whatever we can get close to. It goes up in 20s, so it'll be 680. Oops, it's way too high. 1260. 620. 40, 60, 80. There we are, 680 for landing elevation. So that's now set. Happy days. Transition altitudes, flight level 180 in the States and in Canada. That's all easy peasy. And missed approach, climb to 4,000 feet, track 160 degrees to OMTAX, as required shuttle climb. Which to me means max rate climb. Not heard shuttle climb before. I'm assuming that means maximum rate. Yeah, not sure. Blasting area sounds cool. We're flying in from the bottom left of the chart, so where that bottom left corner is, the little bit of lake of the water that you can see on the map, we basically draw a line from that corner all the way up to Aleru, and that's where we're going to join the procedure here for the RNAV Zulu runway 16. So the initial approach fix of Aleru, max 210 knots. And we're going to be about 2,100 feet. There's a beacon or a mast, 951 feet. Got to be careful of that. Probably won't see that in this scenery. If I do, I'll be pretty impressed. 070 degrees to Adsall, and then turning onto final 160 degrees via Radir on the approach. And there's the vertical profile. So 2,100 feet, at Adsal, 160 degrees, and then we're going to start to step descent down to 2000 at Radir, 3-degree glide path angle all the way down to the touchdown. Ah, David, that sounds pretty good. 30 miles is nice. There's our minimums, 1080 feet, because we are only LNAV, RNAV capable from memory. I don't think from memory the CRJ can do LNAV and VNAV or LPV. Matthew will correct me, I'm sure, if I'm wrong. So we're going with the LNAV only minimum. And yeah, happy days. As we mentioned at the sort of midpoint, because we're landing on the southern runway 16, we're going to have to go all the way down to the bottom. Potentially, if there's a wide point, or if we can turn it in time, we will we'll backtrack early. But if not, we're going to have to go all the way down to the bottom to this little drop leg bit here, and then backtrack all the way up the runway off at Alpha to then pick a stand. And I think Doc's pre-allocated a stand for me to park at. So let me just have a look. Oh, he's giving me... It just says arriving at apron 1, so it doesn't matter. We shall pick one. Although, interestingly, there aren't any parking charts. Maybe it's a free-for-all at Yellowknife. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, I know. We can zoom in, can't we? Yeah, look at that. No stands. That's interesting. It's almost like it's lost the route. Very weird. Oh well. That's anyone we need. Matthew says correct, LNAV only. When is your CRJ type ride? Unfortunately, never. Oh yeah, Jonathan had that bug as well, just reload the flight. Weird. Unload. Load. Slight bug. There's your VFR charts. Lovely terrain mapping. There goes the woofer. Hey, we're back. Sorry about that, folks. The as I was mentioning earlier, the house, we had some snags and things like that, but we ended up, well, one of them was slightly more urgent fix. It was the fridge door catching on the oven, which was then damaging. Well, it damaged the door, but it was also damaging the oven. So the site manager, to be fair to, he's just come around now to make sure it was all readjusted to prevent any damage to my oven, which is why it was a little bit sudden. Didn't expect it. Nice of him though. But I'm back now. Andrew says, I would love to fly this more, but in the past whenever trying to change speed or altitude constraints, the FMC got so confused it kind of put me off. That's the one thing I had in my mind, David, the whole time. Oh my god, when's top of descent? Nick's saying the VATSIM servers just went down, but seem to be back now. The UK server, I think, must still be connected because I'm still connected to the network. Having a little look at it here, I can't see any disconnects or reconnects on the vPilot log. Absolutely, David. And in fairness to them, they've actually been pretty good. Jeff, yeah, I'm in the new house. We moved last Monday, 31st of October. We completed. So we've been really busy. I've been trying to get everything set up to a state where we're ready to go, really, with having a bit of a habitable sort of house that we can then sort out slowly. With start lights, all the important stuff dealt with, and then we can enjoy the other things. So nice and slowly chip away at other bits. It's been really nice. It's a beautiful area. Lots of country walks. Loads of country walks. I can walk for miles, hours and hours with the dog around the Chilterns. It's beautiful. Much nicer than my previous location. I used to live in Slough. Horrible place. Glad to have driven away out of there for the last time. But it has meant that I've now got no money for flying. So all my PPL has come to a halt. I'm going to try, potentially, still knock away at the exams, chip away at those, but I'll have to see what happens. It's 24 quid an exam, of course, so, again, money's money. I'll have to see how quick this credit card arrives. Oh, dear. And 1 hour 5 minutes now to Sim Update 11, the 40th anniversary edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Very exciting. I remember saying right at the very beginnings of Microsoft Flight Simulator, there's a lot of work to be done. There's a hopeful future for it. There's a lot of promise. I think I kept saying a lot of things to look forward to, and now we can see that. We can see it coming into sort of reality, and it's nice. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? These big updates for the sim with a lot of meat and bones, a lot of juice. Very exciting times ahead for sure. And we are about 30 minutes to landing now. MFD menu. Pull button to VNav. That cloud cover's starting to come in now, thick, isn't it? Look at that. It's the weather that we were seeing on the weather reports for Yellowknife, CYZF. And the METAR now is 140 at 16, gusting 27, still at 14Z. So we're expecting another METAR in about 3 minutes. And that'll be our final weather report. So give it 5-10 minutes, we'll do the refresh of it. That'll be our final weather report for our approach to Yellowknife today. We've done the landing elevation. And we just want to check the legs to make sure there's no discontinuities. There we go, that looks pretty good. So that's all set up, ready to go, and the altitude constraints match what they should be on the charts. That's what we're expecting. And the VNAV descent is all set up pretty good as well. We've done our little fixed rings as well. We've got a 5 mile and a 10 mile fixed ring. Yeah, 2 years. Well, it was August, wasn't it? Was it August the 18th, I think, from memory? 2020? We've had to persevere for a little while, haven't we? And this is like a complete blanket covering now that we're flying into. Look at that for overcast down below. That freezing fog. Stunning though. This is the first time I've ever actually flown. I'm running my sim on 2K for the first time ever. My goodness, what a difference. MPS Gaming, absolutely. So we're going to have a continuous descent all the way to 2,100 feet. Might as well get that back up. We've done minimums. We don't need to worry about this just yet, but I'll turn it on. Make sure I remember to arm the thrust reversers because I will forget and I'll go to use them, and if they're not armed down here they won't activate, they won't work. 1228, so we don't need to worry about ILS. .139 auto tunes. 1155 for YZF, 1155. It's 160 degrees, track to the runway. Just making some notes on my piece of paper. RNAV. Zulu 16, Yellowknife. Jeff says, is there a downside to just leaving them armed? I don't know, to be honest. I suppose they could be activated if they're armed. Perhaps Bombardier didn't put an actual lock mechanism on to prevent them being automatically or accidentally deployed. Perhaps. Not sure, to be honest. .31 knot crosswind now across the aeroplane. 36 miles to top of descent in 4 minutes. So what we can do, because it'd be an altitude hold anyway. I'll set 2-1. Matthew's saying, so I've obviously been spending some time close to the Arctic Circle lately, and I've got to say the sun staying low to the horizon all day is one of the weirdest things I've experienced. I can imagine so. I remember various flights when I was working for BA, following the sun, and it is a weird experience. I mean, you've got the perfect view. You've got the best view, Matthew, up the front of the aeroplane. You get to see it in all its glory. Ah, Matthew, there you go. Jeff, great question. Answered by Matthew, saying there's no downside to just leaving the thrust reversers armed in the 700 or 900. That switch exists because in the CRJ900 the thrust reversers are pneumatically powered, so you are actually opening a valve by turning it onto the armed position. Good to know. Thank you. Alaru, it's 2,100, 5. Wants 2,000 foot per minute. We're going to get the little VNAV ball in a minute as well as we capture through top of descent. It's going to give us a bit of VNAV guidance. It's interesting, I've not flown this for a while, but you feel like you can get back to it quite nicely. Great little aeroplane. Yes, in theory then you could just leave them armed. What you'll have up here instead is the warnings to say that the left and right reversers are both armed. Now we're going direct to YHY, sorry no, Aleru. We've just passed YHY. Vertical speed mode. (2,100 foot per minute). Mikhail, hello buddy. Thank you very much. Hopefully you guys haven't had too much of a sort of glitch in the matrix while I've been gone. Good to be back. Very exciting. Great route, by the way. Ashley's created this route. Put it on Discord in our little flight suggestions tab. It's been fantastic so far. What views we've had as well. Beautiful sunrise out of Vancouver. Yo, howdy, buddy. I don't think spacing's a thing today, is it? I'm just going to start slowly easing into descent. And we can bring that throttle back slightly as well. It wants 2,300 foot per minute. Low, not sure to be honest. Not tried the new Nvidia driver, Mikhail, actually. I'm still on the old one from the one before the last one, if that makes sense. Yeah, not had a chance to look around the MD-11 yet. No, I'm hoping if I can get the stream complete by 4, I'll basically boot up, load into the sim with the MD-11. Okay, there's top of descent, there's the snowflake. $2,400 it says. So we'll set that, we'll let the aeroplane settle into it. And we'll keep an eye on our speed and everything as well. It may well be that we've reduced that throttle a bit too much. So we can just capture it nicely. John, hello buddy. Yeah, good, thanks. Touch wood. First fixed ring coming into view there, 10 miles. Carson, there's an MD-11 that released out surprise by SkySim. I've got it installed for the purpose of doing a review. It's payware. It's over 60 quid, sadly. But yeah. My aim over the next couple of days is to put together a review which will help you decide whether or not you want to purchase that for yourself or not. It's quite a bit of money. It's more expensive than what PMDG offer. By the way. How's that for a review? Dirty 2, no worries, buddy. Have a good one. Hopefully the shift isn't too stressful. Yellowknife is down there somewhere in the snow, which I think Andrew mentioned earlier on at the start of the stream today. Said that that would be, well, that would be the forecast. That would be what we should expect into Yellowknife. Certainly looks like the sim is able to replicate that at the moment. Flash says, I can't even figure out how to start the MD-11, and they have no built-in checklists in the sim. Yeah, I mean, there's no reviews or anything out either, not from what we've really properly seen. Very limited information, so because of that, I want to try and, A, get my head around it, understand how it works a bit better, but then also offer that to you guys with a review, because it's going to be a lot more complex than, well, most definitely than an Airbus. Push button fly, as Neil says. Goodness me, look at that reflection. Yellowknife is in that cloud. In fact, that reminds me, it's time CYZF to get the latest METAR. Which hasn't updated yet. We'll give it another 5 minutes. Still the 1400Z METAR. Certainly is MPS gaming. Really nice fun. So we're going to be doing the RNAV approach. It's an LNAV only capable aircraft, so we're going to focus on that. Yeah, I didn't even know about it either, John, to be honest. Tapsy, our livery painter for the channel, suddenly messaged me saying, have you seen this? That's super bright. Flash says, I have to agree with the comment from earlier though, the cockpit model in the MD-11 and the textures are not up to snuff. Interesting. Jonathan says a friend of his has tried for an hour now to start the MD-11 and he's just quit because he does not want it. He does not want to start. That's a lot of work, isn't it? An hour to get nowhere. Carson can't wait for the KC-10 and DC-10, and now to see the MD-11. I don't know why, but I have an obsession with those types of aircraft. So it's a lot of money though, Carson, so I wouldn't rush to buy it just yet. I'd wait for a couple of days to work out, you know, let some reviews stabilise, to work out whether or not you want to buy it. TFDI Design are creating an MD-11 as well, aren't they, from memory? I think we'll talk about that earlier on. Though that's going to be even more expensive. That's going to be, what was their latest pricing? estimate? Over 100 quid, wasn't it? Madness. Could probably idle the throttle now, to be honest. I've let that speed slip away. John says, I'm not a wide body fan in the sim, but I'll give the A310 a go. Yeah, it's free, so even if you're not a fan of it, it's always worth a try, isn't it? That's the main thing. And having the opportunity to enjoy an aeroplane like that as well is really quite cool. Mark says, I saw some footage of the MD-11. It's really pretty poor. A 20 to 30 pound aircraft at best. The textures are very poor. Interesting. I've heard mixed reviews. The problem is I don't know how balanced or how fair those reviews are. So I've kind of read it with a pinch of salt, and I've taken it with a pinch of salt, and I figured I'll just make my own mind up. Yerp says, agreed, some textures look ported in the MD-11, if that's the right word. I think the systems are definitely up to VATSIM standards though, from what I've seen. My preliminary opinion is that it's overpriced but not bad. Okay. That's not too bad then. It does seem like it's just a port from P3D. But that's not a bad thing. Through transition now. And we got the new METAR, 130 degrees. 130 degrees at 12 knots, gusting 19. Light snow, overcast 1000. -8 degrees Celsius, -10 degrees for the dew point. Altimeter 3009er. Gavi, hello to you. Welcome. Matthew, one of our channel members, is was a CRJ captain of many years. He helped me understand the aeroplane a little bit and sort of get my head around it and offer his thoughts and advice in relation to creation of our tutorials. Thank you very much for offering. If you know anything about the MD-11 though, do let me know. Brandon says the MD-11 looks like another cash grab. It should be half the price, and even that is pushing it. What have I set? 2100. On the charts, 2000 Radir, 2000 recommended 2100 at Adsal. That's 5 miles after Aleru, which looks like that's roughly where the banana is once we commit to that turn as well. That's good. Beeline says, I've read that the systems are below par. I mean it's difficult with system depth, isn't it? Because you need to be flying it for quite a while, I think, before you can reasonably assess whether or not the systems are up to scratch or not. And then you kind of got to assess that as well as, are the systems good enough for VATSIM, as well as how deep do the systems go in the simulation. It's kind of a multi-pronged question, I suppose, but I don't think that's a question that can be answered in just a few days with reviews. Photogrammetry, Automator saying, how's photogrammetry looking this far north? Hard to tell, really. Yeah, interesting. Mark, hello buddy, hope the move went well. Good to see you back in the skies. It's great to be back. 20 miles, and we've got a speed restriction of 210 coming up. So I'm going to idle the throttle now. And it's pretty chilly, so I'm going to put some icing on. Even though there's no ice detected, I'm going to put windshield heat on. I thought I turned the probes on. I must have turned them off again somehow accidentally. At some point. I'm trying to remember when that might have been. Odd. Absolutely. Well, Brandon, if anything, yeah, it absolutely should be. I think maybe it should be a little bit... I mean, if they're asking for more than the PMDG, then I'd expect them to offer a bit more with their simulation. Crikey, I've busted 10,000 at 250, haven't I? Whoopsie whoopsie. Sorry, FAA. Yeah, should. .009's that standby instrument now matches. Can't. I mean, only just about see it with that light reflecting through it. There we are. How's that for photogrammetry? Now we're a little bit lower. Can't really see it through that thick cloud cover though, of course. While I remember, I need to put lights and signs on. Lights or signs as required. 220. And I'll forget, so I'm going to put the thrust reversers to armed now. And our speed's 210 at the T. I'll probably go a little bit quicker to be honest, but all good. I'm ignoring the snowflake and the ball at the moment for the VNAV guidance because I'm intentionally trying to get to Adsel at 2,100 feet. Get rid of the music. Oh, Matthew, awesome. There you go. Another fact for the CRJ. The probes turn on automatically once the weight on wheels switches off, so you'd be fine. Thank goodness. Yellowknife traffic, Jazz 480s, altimeter 3009er, and inbound Aleru for the Arnav Zulu, runway 16 approach. Currently 5 track miles south of Aleru. We'll report final Yellowknife traffic. Oof. VLAN pilot says the cockpit of the MD-11 looks like absolute garbage. It's like brand new MSFS textures combined with FSX textures. That doesn't sound good at all. I don't know. I keep an open mind. That, however, looks spectacular. Project Max Yellowknife payware scenery. Again, question here is it worth the money? Not so sure. It looks pretty poor as a payware airport, but we're going to find out in a moment when we do touch down. And here we are in the Aerosoft CRJ, about to enter final approach. That is going to be Aleru. So let's get back into the flight deck. I want speed 180. Read the T, we're going to go flaps 8 for now. And we've got a 35 knot crosswind. Let's get that range in as well. Try and match the throttle to our rate of deceleration. Probably go flaps 20. Just to bring that nose down a bit. And we'll do 180 for a little bit. Nav mode, alt capture, get my charts up on another screen, radar. Get cowl icing on, off, sorry, for a bit more power of the engines. .35 knot headwind at the moment. Recommended 2,100 feet level, which is what we're on at the moment. Yellowknife traffic, Jazz 480 is 8 mile final to land. RNAV approach, runway 16, Yellowknife traffic. Down here, performance. VREF set 141. Information Alpha, hello. Very good, thank you. Hope you're well. Let's go gear down. Oh, look at that visibility. 160. We're only about 1,000 foot from the ground, by the way, at the moment. Speed. Let's get back to 160-ish. Ground speed 114, so about 600 foot per minute for rate of descent. Low vis. We'll see what happens. Just gonna let the airplane decelerate now to our final approach speeds.
One night traffic up to 492, 5 miles south. Inbound RNAV 160 and 1,000. Yellowknife traffic.
Sort out our speed there, dropping a bit too low. I think, yes, that's the runway. My controls. $4,000 set. That VNav is well off on the RNav. Wowzers. We're back on it now. I can see 1 white. 3 reds. Just about. Just trying to stabilise on this approach. There we go. Speed's good. And we've got no warnings. Cross reversers left and right are armed. Wing anti-ice is on at the moment. Bit playful. Look at the ice on the ice there on the windshield, on the actual wipers.
Minimums. Minimums.
Well, hey. Now gone ever so slightly to a left crosswind.
Minimums.
This is the gusts now kicking off.
Minimums. 200.
It's good old MSFS overblown
Minimums.
snow. Well, hey, look at that. Good grief.
Minimums. 100.
If it wasn't for the lights...
Minimums. 40. 30. 20.
Oh, holding the flare.
10.
Good grief. Oh. I'll take that, but it wasn't particularly wonderful for landing. Anyway, we'll reverse green and a little bit of brakes. We won't use the whole runway because I know there's somebody coming in on final. We can turn in this radius.
Western 2260, continuing the distance to flight level 3000.
Yellowknife traffic jazz 480 is backtrack 16. Yeah, it was quite a float. It's these gusts, that's the problem. You go, you get it set nicely, and then all of a sudden you get an extra whopper of a 10 knot for a gust, and that then creates an artificial float.
Yellowknife traffic route 480 passing Aleru, speed 200 knots.
Possibly. But this is Yellowknife's payware scenery by the folks at Project Max. Good grief. Look at that. I mean, in fairness, the METAR says light snow, and that is what we've got. Yeah, Gavi, that's the problem. I wasn't down the centre. Disappointed with that lack of accuracy there. I tried. God knows where Alpha is.
Yellowknife VOR at 5,000, turning to Aleru, and then turning for Adsall into RNAV 16. Yellowknife traffic.
Well, there's a yellow line. We will follow that. And here is the payware Yellowknife scenery.
IFR is foggy.
Yellowknife traffic, Jazz 480, runway vacated. Ooh, where do we park? So many choices. Let's see what GSX offers us here. Gate.
Traffic route 480, final 8 mile.
That says 6. No. APU's good. I've got no idea where the stop line is. Oh, brake on. And we can cut the engines. Chocks. Passenger door.
This parking is isolated. Ground services are not available.
Well, that's pointless then. Beacon. Thought I'd turn the lights, taxi lights off, but again, that's me not paying attention. Probe should be off as well. Probably leave them on hot.
Osprey 156, shooting to 182 to give a bit of space to your stuff in front.
So, I think it's about £8 this scenery, Project Max Yellowknife. It's a bit hit and miss whether or not you want it, but I suppose for this really remote section of Canada, it could be something that's quite nice to sort of, well, at least have as a opportunity to enjoy the bit of scenery, a bit of payware scenery than generic hangars.
10 miles down.
We've got a couple on final, haven't we? This is the runway. There's the windsock. And there's one on approach. Just about see him in the haze. That overcast conditions. Yeah, it's not too bad for £8. It's not too bad, I don't think. But again, I think they should have done a bit of work with the snow textures, but that's more of an MSFS limitation, isn't it? Let's face it. My goodness, did I just see... Thought I just saw sort of like that condensation effect on the wings. Rue 480. That looked pretty good. A321.
Yellowknife, first got spray 131 Golf is 7 nautical miles from YZF, doing 230 knots. Repeat, 230 knots. Yellowknife traffic.
And Yellowknife traffic was, correction, WestJet 2360 is 11 nautical miles.
We've got John on final behind, I think, or who's on short final?
Expecting RNAV runway 16.
Baccazato's on. Oh no, yeah, David. Osprey 490 is on short final now.
Traffic Osprey 156, downwind 16 at speed 200.
Liam, next stream probably Monday. Monday or Tuesday. It's going to be an A310 route, but I've got no idea where we're going to be flying. Blowed up, hello. Beeline Pilot says, every time I fly in new regions, I realise how bonkers this sim is. The entire world at this level still blows my mind. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Holy smokes, the wind is rocking me left and right everywhere. Anyways, WestJet 2360 has run the field inside.
Wait for David to appear through the cloud. He was only a few miles behind.
Osprey 490 on a 3-mile final. 16.
There he is. We're going to see him any minute here. About 2 miles from touchdown. It seems to be where we're getting this visibility from the aircraft flying in.
Yellowknife traffic Osprey 131 Golf is 8 nautical miles from Alaroo, reducing speed to 210 knots. Repeat 210 knots. Osprey 131 Golf, Yellowknife traffic.
It's the suspense because we can kind of see this snow and this sort of blizzard flying past the screen. There he is. And it's trying to work out if they're on the approach correctly or not. So David looks like he's in the 737, PMDG 737. Jonathan, thank you, buddy. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy Sim Update 11 for those of you who are about to update it as well. I'm kind of torn. Do I run the update for Sim Update 11, or do I launch into that MD11 and have a little look? He's in the 737-800. Big boys. Let's go. Fighting the gusts. That looked really good.
At the field in sight, short final, no, not short final, 5 miles from 16.
Whoever that is, they're just going to have to touch down, I think. Great touchdown.
Osprey 490 is down, and I'm going to go to the end of the runway and stand by. Turn around and stand by at the end of the runway.
Back as Arto.
Okay, WestJet 2360 is on short final 16. God help me, please. I'm dead inside.
You can do it. You can do it.
Final.
You can do it.
We have traffic in front inside.
Yellowknife Osprey 131 Golf is turning in finals at 10 miles.
Oh, he's fighting it.
About 30 seconds.
Oh my good grief. Scramble the trucks, pick up the red phone. He's fighting it, look at that. Ooh. That's a firm touchdown.
Osprey 131 Golf, fast traffic in front inside.
Tell you what, he's down though. Oh. Fantastic. Great effort. There's David, out the way.
Alright, WestJet 2360 with flat tires. We just Tokyo Drift 116.
Right, let's have a little look at this airport scenery before the next one comes in. So texture-wise, it's pretty naff, isn't it? Let's face it. Look at that.
Someone cue the waiting music.
So, hangarage works, sort of building block work. It's not that impressive, I don't think. But I suppose for £8, would I buy it? I'm not sure. If you could justify paying for a payware, technically, just for the sake of it being payware, payware scenery, just for an improvement over the default, then yeah, fair enough. It doesn't look mega impressive though, does it?
About 7 or 8 miles. Okay, we'll just stack them up down here and
not getting anybody's way.
So we all stuck it on the runway now then.
Yeah.
We have eyes on you, and we have eyes everywhere. Good luck on the landing.
Stop watching me! Stop watching me!
That looks like my hangar in denim. That's a pretty bad bit of texture work, isn't it? It almost looks like it sounds awful, doesn't it? But for me, it kind of looks like a freeware airport, I think to be honest. Pretty average for payware indeed, yeah. For £8, not sure. Look at Manchester, £9.99. MacroSim Manchester. Yeah, there's a lot of issues with it now, and you know, it could do with a bit of a refresh and an update, but for £9, that's pretty cool. Shut says shame we can't see runway or taxiway textures. I could just change the weather if you would like me to. We'll watch this land first. This is Neil, I think, in the 737-600. 15 minutes to go until SEM update 11. How many more? We've got to count. How many more have we got for the touchdowns? Brandon's saying, always awesome to have a streamer watch their colleagues landing. Most just land and ditch. Do they really?
That is not me. That is David A.
Interesting.
What about David A?
Holy smokes, look at the crab, that's amazing.
We got 2 on approach. Now it looks like Heathrow. Yeah, I always think, you know, if I've got the time, I always try and watch everybody land. It's always nice. You guys take the time to fly along. It makes it really enjoyable. And it's only right that I get the enjoyment from watching you guys land as well. I think it's quite fun. Boom. Great touchdown in the Dinky Jet. He's off the runway. Oh, there goes the mud. Now we're stacking them up down the bottom. And we got one on short final as well here.
Osprey 156, welcome to Yellowknife. Now go line up behind us.
And you're gonna have to pay to replace those lights you ran over.
Yeah, there's noise.
I have to buy a new Max for WestJet.
Another baby Boeing. Almost missed that with the trees. He's landed long and fast.
Nice landing. Oh, well, almost.
There goes the lights again.
They have no left lights. 600's fantastic, Godzilla, isn't it? It's wonderful airplane from PMDG.
Oh, floaty light is down.
Welcome
Who's
to
next?
Yellowknife.
We've got one left. Air Canada Rouge 496.
How many more aircraft have got on final?
One. Over Duckfish Lake at the moment.
Should we try and make a run for it while Rogue 496 is still in the skies?
Let's all make a run right now. Everyone pull down to the end.
He's a 10-mile final, I think.
What's the final?
8 miles, maybe.
Yeah, we got time. Let's do it.
Go, go.
Don't run me over.
Being our pilot's inbound. And there's a mad scramble. Fantastic.
I'm drag racing a 737. Let's go.
And bringing up the rear is Bacon Sony and his baby Boeing.
Mayday, I'm losing control.
Oh god, WestJet's gone way too quick. He's airborne.
I think I've got her again there then. Slow down.
Oh, good grief.
Break you, mate.
He's definitely going to crash.
I can't stop. Help me.
Oh dear. He's in the trees.
Oh my god, I'm taxiing at 80 knots.
I'm in the tree.
I've lost one. Oh, he's just stopped in time next to me.
God, there's no ATC here today. Oh, the 256 is on time next to the rear jet.
There's the sensible one. And there we go, look at that for timing. You just see his lights in the distance start to come in. That's Beeline Pilot. And WestJet has returned to its natural habitat inside the maple forest. There he is.
My gears collapsed.
Oh dear. It sounded like the mating call of a 737-600 there. Here comes Beeline Pilot.
Welcome to Osprey Airways, where we're always professional.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's looking high. Maybe he's going for the Kandahar. Little assault landing. He's looking good now.
For sale, one WestJet Max. Flown one flight, never flown anywhere else.
That's gonna be a go and that.
She'll make it.
Here you make it. Beeline Pilot. Boom.
Oh, what a nice one. Never seen it now.
Nice flare. Loads of runway. Yeah.
You can do it! You can do it!
There we are. Somebody mentioned earlier on about having a little look-see at the weather textures default. Wow, just look at that. Sunset, I suppose. Mega. Here we are. This is Yellowknife with the ground textures without the snow. It's a generally all-over worn kind of look that they've gone for, is that particular concrete, but I think this is concrete that's in the SDK anyway. There's the four little ring stands.
Ladies and gentle Ospreyers,
It doesn't look terrible, does it? For £8.
Local time is, I don't know, sunrise or something.
But it's very basic, but look at the scenery around. Even with the default Yellowknife, I would imagine...
One total collapse landing gear.
Look at that. Beautiful location to fly to, but it's absolutely amazing in the snowless time of year. magic, isn't it? Fantastic. What scenery. Project Max, though, not sure if I'd pay 8 quid, 9 quid for it. I suppose it does give you that little bit of extra bit of immersion as well. Let's get back on live weather and grab a quick screenshot. MSFS kind of ruins it with the maximum snow.
Oh my god, my passengers are all dead. I've got to put seatbelts on.
David saying default isn't bad. There we go. I'd stick with default then if it's not that bad. It doesn't look too far off from default either, to be honest, for 8-9 quid. Anyway, you guys go and enjoy Sim Update 11. It's, well, just over 5 minutes away from release. Very exciting. Airbus A310 from Mini Builds. Super, super, super exciting for that. The DC-3, there's helicopters, there's gliders, there's loads of stuff to look forward to in Sim Update 11. As we said, it's just literally a trickle over 5 minutes away. Thank you everybody for flying along today. It's great to be back. We've had 11 days away from streaming because of moving house. Appreciate you guys are all still here. Really appreciate that. Gavin, thank you very much for a super chat earlier on as well. Really appreciate that, Gav. All of our channel members for being with us, sticking with us, and everybody wherever you are in the world, thank you very much for tuning in and flying along. And I will see you the other side of the weekend. Enjoy the 40th anniversary update, folks, with Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let us know how you get on with it over in Discord, and I'll see you on the other side of Sim Update 11. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Take care.
That was a hell of a lot of fun. It was a good time. Thanks, guys. See y'all.
Are we who's up for the turn leg?
Nah, I've got to go and walk dog, otherwise I've already been giving me evil eye for past half an hour.